two of the most advanced passenger jets of their era. Within months of each other, both break apart in midair. No obvious storm, no clear engine failure, no straightforward case of pilot error. And at first, nobody can explain why. The answer is eventually traced to one of the most ordinary parts of the aircraft, a window. Modern passenger jets almost universally use windows with rounded corners. That geometry is not decorative. It is structural. Welcome to But Why Though? In 1949, the de Havilland Comet made its first flight. It would soon become the world's first commercial jet airliner. It was fast, sleek, and futuristic, and it had large, squarish windows. At the time, that seemed perfectly reasonable. Houses had square windows. Trains had square windows. Houses, however, rarely cruise at 35,000 feet inside a pressurized metal tube. A minor difference, as it turned out. At cruising altitude, the air outside is too thin for passengers to breathe safely, so the cabin has to be pressurized. That pressure pushes outward against the fuselage. During every flight, the body of the aircraft expands by a tiny amount. After landing, it contracts again. One cycle is harmless. Thousands of cycles are not. Repeated loading can gradually weaken metal through a process known as fatigue, and those forces do not distribute themselves politely. They concentrate around abrupt changes in shape, especially sharp corners. A square opening gives stress 4 convenient places to gather. Flight after flight, microscopic cracks can begin there and slowly grow. Pressure, unfortunately, is patient. Once a crack becomes large enough, the pressurized cabin can fail catastrophically. Investigators eventually placed an entire Comet fuselage inside a giant water tank. They repeatedly pressurized and depressurized it, simulating years of flights in a fraction of the time. The aircraft survived thousands of cycles. Then the metal tore. The failure began at the corner of a squarish opening in the pressurized fuselage. The problem was not the glass itself, it was the geometry around it. The solution was also more complicated than simply making the windows oval. Engineers rounded the openings, strengthened the surrounding structure, improved fatigue testing, and developed better ways to prevent small cracks from becoming catastrophic ones. Rounded corners helped because they reduced the concentration of stress. Instead of piling up at one sharp point, the force could spread more gradually around the frame. Engineering rarely makes stress disappear. It simply stops giving it a favorite seat. That is why modern airplane windows have rounded corners. They are not shaped that way because curves look friendlier. They are shaped that way because aviation learned, at a terrible cost, that one small geometric detail can determine whether a structure survives thousands of flights or fails on the next one.